Hey guys, Foxitor, and welcome to a new video. This time, draft analysis for IBA Season 3. First of all, big thanks to everyone for having me. I'm super excited for this league, a new Crown Tundra DLC draft league, and I'm super excited to play in it. Everyone in the league has been super kind, and I'm really looking forward to playing everyone. Also, big shout out to JayVee for sending the invite for the league. Really appreciate it. Also, shout out to JayVee for the graphics for I think he does like every piece of graphic work for this league, and it looks absolutely beautiful. He's quite a god with this stuff, so super dope stuff. So for everyone that doesn't know what a draft league is, all the different Pokemon in the Pokedex are awarded a point value, and you get a total of 120 points at the start of the league. That's not the case for every draft league, but it is for this draft league. And with those 120 points, you're going to draft a team. It's a snake draft format, meaning that you go from 1 to 14, and then from 14 to 1, and then up and down until everyone has 11 mons drafted and 120 points spent. The points awarded to the Pokemon range from 1 to 18 points, 1 being the lowest value and 18 being the highest value Pokemon. And today I'm going to explain what team I drafted and why I did so. So I kind of had two goals going into this draft league. First of all, make a strong draft, make a draft that is capable of winning, of course. And secondly, play with a bunch of mons that I've never played with. Especially with all the mons introduced with the new DLC, I really want to take this opportunity to play with some mons I've never played with. However, also really draft a really strong team. So I was number 13 in a 14 pick snake draft, which is not ideal because that meant that I really did not get to pick the first mon I wanted. Going into this, I didn't really have a draft plan, so to speak. I just really wanted one Pokemon, which is Tornadus Therian, and being number 13 in the draft, of course, meant that I didn't get Tornadus Therian, which is all fine. I mean, the draft came out fine. It's just a shame. Another thing is that by the time the draft actually got to me, I think it was almost 3:30 a.m. my time. So I kind of left a list of the mons I valued most with JayVee, and he drafted the first 4 for me. So the first 4 weren't really drafted by me. However, they were exactly what I wanted. So getting into the first mon, of course, as I explained, Tornadus Therian did not get to me. And I think by that time, the only mons in in the 18 point tier were Urshifu Single Strike, Zygarde, Melmetal, and I think that was basically it. And none of those I really caught my eye from the start. So what I did is I drafted Aegislash round 1. Aegislash has been a mon that I wanted to try out for like a while now. It's supposedly really good, however I've never really tried it out. Aegislash is of course notorious for having two forms, a Blade and a Shield form. In the Blade form it has 140 base stats in both its offensives, and in the Shield form it has 140 base stats in both its defenses, meaning it's both a bulky and an offensive mon, just not at the same time. I think in previous generations it was 150 in both in all these stats. However, it kind of got a nerf. I think it's 140 right now, which is still amazing, of course. It's just not as good as it used to be. So as I said, it can both be very offensive and defensive. I mean, you can run Choice Band, Choice Specs, you can even run a Life Orb. It gets some great setup moves. It gets Autotomize, it gets Swords Dance. You can of course run it bulky as well. Subtoxic Lefties on this one is absolutely disgusting, but it works. It also has amazing priority in Shadow Sneak, meaning that if you wear down the team enough and get up a Swords Dance, you basically can sweep, which is really nice. I'm really looking forward to playing with Aegislash. I think there's definitely a lot of sets that are fun to run, and just really looking forward to using Aegislash. So on the list that I sent to JayVee, I made sure to immediately go for a Fairy Steel Dragon core, because I think that's a very strong core. I really wanted Garchomp, but I do believe Garchomp got picked like round 1, I think. So my dragon type in this draft is going to be Zygarde. Now, Zygarde is a very bulky Pokemon. I didn't know this, but it gets like 4 signature moves. It gets like Core Enforcer and Lance Wrath, I think it's called, and 1,000 arrows, of course, and 1,000 waves. As I said, it's super bulky. You can run like Sub Glare or Sub Toxic with Coil and 1,000 arrows or something, which is absolutely disgusting. It also gets some really super nice priority in E-Speed. Like Choice Band Extreme Speed is super nice. It gets some really nice setup moves as well in Coil and Dragon Dance. Of course, with the 1000 arrows, being able to hit Levitate mons and Flying type mons for at least neutral damage is absolutely insane. Because that is of course one of the big things when playing with ground types. Flying types and Levitate mons just have an immediate switch in. But against Zygarde they don't. So yeah, super excited to run like offensive sets and bulky sets, and just really looking forward to playing with this mon. Third pick, I think on my list as well, was Clefable, and I'm super surprised it made it that far, because it had to go from 1 to 16 then I guess, and then 26 picks further, Clefable was still available, which is really surprising to me because Clefable is like a top tier mon. You can run it very bulky with wish support for your teammates. It's of course a very good stealth rocker. You can even run it offensive with Magic Guard Life Orb. It's also very nice with Unaware to prevent some sweeps from going. As I said, it gets like Wish and Healing Wish. I think it gets both Aromatherapy and Heal Bell, which is kind of redundant, but it gets super reliable recovery in either Soft Boiled or Moonlight. I don't think you can run Soft Boiled with Unaware though, but it's really not that big of a deal. You can run Screens, it gets some amazing special coverage, plus it gets Knockoff. Like, this mon is just insane on so many fronts, and I'm really happy I was actually able to grab it that late I was really thinking Clefable would go before round 3, so I'm super surprised I actually got it. And then the final mon I didn't draft myself was Zapdos. Now Zapdos is a mon that I really didn't know too much about before actually putting it on my list or drafting it, but it's actually really cool. It has static, which is so cool in my opinion. Like, if someone wants a U-turn, they have to think twice, because I could switch in Zapdos and they could just get paralyzed for nothing basically, which is really cool. It gets both Volt Switch and U-turn. So even if I expect ground types to switch in, I can just run U-turn instead of Volt Switch and still get the momentum, which is really nice. It also gets Agility Baton Pass. Like, we can Baton Pass speed, I think, but not speed and any other stat. Or we can just Baton Pass any other stat if it's not with speed, I think. So I can actually run Agility Baton Pass with Zapdos, which is really nice. Of course, a huge buff for Zapdos this generation is Heavy Duty Boots. Being able to comment on rocks, just defog them away, super nice. It gets reliable recovery and roost. It can set up Tailwind, which is really nice. And it can whirlwind enemies out if they try to set up, or if I just don't like their faces. So super nice moves. And the offensive stats on Zapdos are super amazing as well. I think it has 125 base special attack. So I can run like Life Orb or Specs as well, which would be super nice. But of course the bulky option is always there. And I do think that Zapdos is able to set screens. So yeah, just a super nice mon in general. And now when I look at the first mons I draft, there's two things I think. One thing is, wow, I've spent a lot of points already. I think Zygarde was like 18 points and the rest is all 17. I think most of the draft I actually had the least amount of points left out of everyone, which is not necessarily a good thing, but I do think these four synergize really well together. I mean, Aegislash is weak to ground type moves, for which I have Zapdos, and Clefable is weak to poison type moves, for which I have Aegislash, and Zygarde is weak to dragon type moves, for which I have Clefable. So these four, I think, synergize really well together, and of course I think the rest of the team kind of rounds this core out really well. So at this point in the draft, I want to pick up some speed. So I was thinking of Alakazam, which is quite an expensive pick, but there's also some really fast, cheaper ones out there. Two ones I was thinking of were Inteleon or Barracuda, and I ended up going for Barracuda because it's the faster one out of those two. And of course, Choice Band Barracuda is like filthy hard. It's also super fast, and even if need be, it has really nice priority in Aqua Jet. It has Flip Turn for the momentum, which is super duper nice. It gets some really nice coverage. I think it gets like Close Combat and Psychic Fangs and Ice Fang and Crunch. So super nice in that aspect as well. It is kind of a one-trick pony though, and its abilities are kind of useless. Like, it has Swift Swim, but I am not drafting Rain. Just a spoiler alert, I'm not drafting Rain. Like, same goes for Zygarde, by the way. It kind of has like a useless ability. But that's all good. I mean, Barracuda's stats are really nice. It's just a glass cannon, you know. You don't want to switch it in on hits. You want to bring it in safely and then either just Flip Turn out or do some massive damage with Liquidation. So yeah, looking forward to using Barracuda a lot. Now, I think originally next I drafted Alolan Persian, which I was like really looking forward to using. However, we had 24 hours after the initial draft to make any free agency move we wanted, or trades as well, I think. But yeah, I traded Alolan Persian away, or I put it away, and I grabbed Tentacruel because at the end of the draft I realized I don't have a bulky water. Now, Santacruz isn't that physically bulky, I think, but it's really, really specially bulky, and it's really fast. And even if you invest into physical bulk, it's quite nice as well. It gives me some really nice utility options. It gets knockoff, it gets rapid spin, it gets toxic spikes. So it's both able to remove hazards as well as set some really nice ones. Now that heavy duty boots are out, toxic spikes are probably one of the more useful hazards in the game, because everyone just slaps heavy duty boots on everything that's rock weak. So I think toxic spikes are actually really, really good. It also gives me a ground and poison type, which I used to have in another Pokemon, but I also put that one away. So Tentacruel gives me that ground and poison type, and it's just mainly there to be bulky, to spin hazards away, and to set toxic spikes, in my opinion. I think the next one I originally drafted was Nitiking, and also for Nitiking, I was really looking forward to using Nitiking, but when I saw the flaws in my draft, I traded it away for Zarude. Now, I think Zarude kind of got a bad rep for not getting knockoff or for having a useless ability, but like its stats are super, super good. It has amazing offensive stats with 120 base attack, but it's also super, super bulky, like both physically and specially. It has really nice bulk, and it actually has really nice speed steering at 105 speed as well. So I don't really get why this one got so much slack. Like, yeah, its ability is kind of useless, but it's still a really, really solid bulky grass type, which I didn't have on my team before. It has some really nice setup in bulk up, but also nasty plot. Like, I want to bring specials the route 1 week. I think it's gonna be great. And it also gives me a taunt user, which is really nice. It also gets U-turn if you want to keep the momentum, which is really nice. And just overall gives me a really, really solid, both offensive and defensive grass type. Plus it gives me the dark type back that I had with Alolan Persian, but not anymore. So yeah, definitely really looking forward to using Zarude. Okay, so the next one I drafted was Hitmontop, and Hitmontop was there from the start, and I did not trade that away. Hitmontop has some super nice abilities in Intimidate and Technician. Intimidate is super nice because it makes it like actually viable to run physically bulky. It has some super nice special bulk as well, so you can run especially bulky as well. And it has a really nice attack stat as well, so you can kind of do a lot of things with this mon. Plus Technician is really nice for like the 100,000 forms of priority this mon gets. I swear this mon gets like Sucker Punch and Mark Punch and Bullet Punch and Quick Attack and Fake Out, and I think 2 more. Like this mon gets like a lot of priority, which is really nice, I guess. It also gives me another Rapid Spinner, which is really nice. I really want those hazards away. Hazards are never fun, you know. So Hitmontop does give me another hazard removal. So that is really nice. I'm really excited to use Hitmontop because its stats don't seem too amazing, but like with these abilities and like the utility moves it gets, I'm really looking forward to using Hitmontop. So next pick is probably one of my favorite Pokemon ever. It's Devotion. Like at this point in the draft, I really don't have a lot of points left anymore. So Devotion basically gives me a budget Reuniclus. It has the same offensive stats as Reuniclus as well. 125 special attack is definitely nothing to laugh at, so that's amazing. You can run a Firelight on it, so you can make it semi-bulky, which is really nice as well. It gets amazing abilities in Regenerator and Magic Guard. Regenerator, in my opinion, is probably the most useful ability in Draft League. That's why I wanted Tornadus Therian as well, but you can't have everything. So yeah, Regenerator, really nice ability. A Magic Guard, of course, really nice. You can't get toxic, or like you can get toxic, but it won't hurt you. You can comment on rocks. You can just Carmine, Acid Armor, recover, completely set up on your opponent, which is really, really nice. Yeah, I just really hope that I can make Devotion work this season. I really love to if that works. Next pick is Magmota. Now this pick used to be Ordino. I was like, I'm gonna pick the most budget dual Regenerator core ever. However, I did trade Ordino away because Ordino is too similar in Clefable in that sense that it is a really good Wish support mon, a really good Cleric. But I kind of already had that in Clefable, and it seemed too redundant to just have Ordino just for the Regenerator. So I also at this point didn't have a fire type already. So in the free agency period, I just traded it away for Magmota. Now, there's really not a lot of special things about Magmota. It has a really solid special attack stat, and it gets Belly Drum. Belly Drum, I want to bring physical Magmota one week. I think that'll be really fun. It also gets Flame Body, so similar as to where you don't want to U-turn on Zapdos, you really don't want to U-turn on Magmota either. Because if you catch a bone on a physical mon, that's of course really beneficial for me. It also gets some really nice other support moves. It gets Taunt, which is really nice. It gets Teleport. Like, Teleport is of course more useful on monsters you actually want to like have eat a hit and then switch out. But it does help in keeping that momentum. So that's definitely nice. And it gets super nice coverage as well. I think it gets Psychic and it gets T-Ball and like a plethora of fire type moves. So yeah, I think Magmota definitely for the point value it was at is definitely a really good pick. And the final one I drafted, this Pokemon used to be Klinklang, just because I really didn't need anything else on my team. Like, Klinklang gave me a really nice setup sweeper. But after the moves I made with the free agency period, I just have 1 point left, and I spent that point on Butterfree. Now, Butterfree is by no means a useless mon. It gives me another Defogger, like a really frill Defogger though, but it gives me a Defogger, yeah. It can potentially be a really nice setup sweeper with Quiver Dance. It of course gets almost 100% accurate sleep powders as well, which really helps it give that setup opportunity. Some other really nice moves it gets are Teleport, even though as well you don't want to have Butterfree eat a hit. Like, Butterfree basically can't eat anything. It will die to like any move that is not resisted. Plus it gets U-turn. I don't know how often you really want to run U-turn on your special Butterfree. But it is what it is. It also gets Whirlwind, which is quite nice. Like, I don't know how often I'm gonna I really don't know how often I'm gonna bring Butterfree though, but I do think for the point value, it's at like the 1 point value. I think Butterfree is quite a nice pick. So these are all the ones I drafted, and I'm pretty happy with the team I got. I definitely do think it might be a little bit top heavy, like Zygarde, Clefable, Zapdos, and Aegislash. Like, these are ones I'm gonna be bringing every week, you know. But I do think I did get some really nice value picks in the lower point range. So yeah, really happy with my team. I hope you enjoyed the team builder. I think next battle is going to be going up next week. We're going up against the Montreal Giga Impacts. So really looking forward to that game. And yeah, that game should be up next week. So hope you're looking forward to it. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.